You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. And I guess I never told you I'm so happy that you're mine. If I made you feel second best, girl, I'm so sorry I was blind. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Tell me that your sweet love hasn't died. Give me one more chance to keep you satisfied.
Please be seated.
Little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time. You were always on my mind. Always on my mind. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. Maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. And I guess I never told you I'm so happy that you're mine. Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, all of you, family and friends, those who are here and those who are unable to be here. A difficult time for some members of the family who can't be with us today, and our thoughts are very much with you. Auntie Wendy in Canberra, there with her own grandson Brad for company, helping her out with the electronics, if truth be told. So we spare a thought for those who are unable to be with us, but we'll include them in the service as well today. It's a time for us to come together. It's what we've always done ever since we were human. We gather in this kind of way. We see familiar faces, and somehow or other, that deep pain that's within, that grief, is somewhat comforted, consoled, relieved. Even during a COVID virus, we still extend our arms and give someone a hug, shake a hand and hold on and hold on and hold on a bit longer, because we just need that kind of touch at the moment. And it seems to work for us. We cross the planet to be together at times like this, because we just need to be together. And it works for us. We come especially for the family. You're a comforting presence to them and also to those round about you. But you're a comforting presence to the family. And it's amazing what you'll remember on days like today. Perhaps you're really thinking of Alec, and yet your mind wanders to Lorraine as you think of her, or to some other that you've lost. And that's a normal and natural thing to do on a day like today. And we do remember Lorraine, and they were together for so long. We think of her today. We remember his siblings. Wendy, Pam deceased, Ray and Sue with us today. We're here for his children, for Stephen, David, Paul, all deceased, and for Kylie and Mark. So the family has known some tragedy. We're here for the 6 grandchildren: Nikia, Cade, Madison, Jordan, Chloe, Isaac. Here for you, to make sure you know that we care for you. And if you're sad today, then we're sad with you. And here we are for the one great-grandchild also. Blessings on her, Ella. Perhaps some of you will go back and recall either what Alex said, or some of you were there, I know, remembering times when he was a lad with his parents, Joyce and Malcolm. And so as we come today, celebrating Alex's life, we also come in grief, and we're able to do this. As humans, we're able to have grief and relief within us at the same time, laughter and tears, both at the same time. Today, it's inevitable we'll get some tears to shed, and you're in a safe place to express how you feel. One of the ways that we've expressed how we feel is in writing, whether it's in the writing of songs or poetry, plays, all types of writing, or in this culture in Australia, perhaps cave paintings. We tell of this experience of grief. We tell of those who were a great comfort to us, how they got us through, how grateful we are to them. Some of these are our oldest writings. They're so special to us, we call them sacred literature. Others are more modern, saying much the same thing, but from a contemporary perspective. The likes of this one: I've lived each year gone by. Don't grieve for me, for on this earth I've lived each year gone by. I've seen the wonders of a birth, experienced a loved one die. I've wealthy been, for in those years I've loved and been loved too. And in between each rain of tears were skies of clearest blue. Don't grieve for me, for well we know, as nature does decree, that every living thing which grows and blooms still death must see. I only hope that on that day I will no shadows cast, that grief or sorrow will not stay or linger in the past. My race is run, I've no regret, so grieve not that I die, but grieve instead for those who never were as fortunate as I. And I like that kind of reading, because you can almost hear his voice in it as a word of encouragement to you all. Grieve not that I die, grieve instead for those who never were as fortunate as I. In a good life, a life in which we can celebrate. I'm not going to say very much, as we have a eulogy to hear, but I just wanted to acknowledge the police force today and them being here, and how honourable that is. Of course, Alec followed his father's footsteps into the police, and after 38 years retired from there. A commendable service. What a lifetime of service, not just to the police force, but as you know, to the community, to us. And for that we're always grateful, and we thank the police today for their guard of honour. Following that job, I gather that Alec got another job, the dream job of being grandpa. A job which he absolutely loved, didn't he? He loved being your grandpa. And he loved everything about you, and sharing all news with you and helping you at home, I know. He met Lorraine at a rainbow dance when he was 19. Sometimes you just know. He just knew. Across that dance floor, she's the one. It was what we call love at first sight. She was the one. They married in June '64 at Parramatta. They, of course, had their 5 children, 6 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchildren. I heard and I also saw some of the wonderful things that he has made. He was very skillful in woodwork, also in metalwork, but he was very skilled in woodwork. He made some wonderful items for the grandchildren. I've seen some of them, and these, in fact, some of them they're not even allowed to touch. They are now precious heirlooms, and they are beautiful. Lovely things for you to have, and I love the wee chairs that he made for you. Lorraine passed away last year, and Alec was never the same. He missed her sorely. When his health began to fail, he moved in with Kylie and Adam, and with their family, and that's where he's been for the past 18 months. I just want to acknowledge this. It's really important that I do. Not everyone is able to do this. But this is what love does. It is love's way, and people will try to live up to it. It's a beautiful thing that has been done. Love faces such challenges, bears it, and absorbs it. We're all, I'm sure everyone here is grateful to you both for what you did in looking after Alec. Of course, we can guess there would be moments. There would have to be. But please look back with pride on your labour of love, because we're all very grateful. And now, to Brother Ray, as he brings us the eulogy. Enough from me. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you. Denis Alexander, my brother, was the eldest of Mal and Joyce Whiteley's 5 children. As a child, Alec grew up with his 2 sisters, Wendy and Pam, until Pam's tragic death at the age of 4. This shattering loss struck deeply into Mum and Dad, and for a time disoriented the worlds of Pam's older brother and sister Wendy. Wendy has fond memories of growing up with Alec in these earlier years. A little boy, full of energy, a tree climber, a prankster, a sister tormentor, but happy, well-mannered and fun-loving. After little Pam died, Mum and Dad eventually had me and Sue. We have fond memories of Alec making useful things like bows and arrows, catapults, billy carts. Throughout life he was Mr. Fix-It, Mr. DIY. He made everything from wooden toys to tables, repaired kitchen appliances and computers. Alec was a problem solver and a brilliant improviser, which was to play its part in the success of his distinguished career as a scientific bureau detective. We were such a close, happy, loving family as we are today. Alec wrote, "We were not rich with money, but we were rich with the love and caring our parents gave us." Following in the footsteps of our wonderful father and with the support of a loving mother, Alec joined the New South Wales Police Cadets at the age of 17, attending the New South Wales Training Centre at Redfern. He said, "My dad was a great influence on me, and I wanted to join the police." Alec was sworn in as a probationary constable on the 9th of September 1961, the date of his 19th birthday. Alec wrote, "I'd finally made it. My parents and family were there at the time to wish me well. This was the start of my police career." It was a proud day for our family. Alec loved the job. But this time in his life saw not just the beginning of his career, it was the beginning of his marriage to the beautiful Lorraine Chapman. Wendy recalls that Alec first met Lorraine at a Rainbows ball, which he had reluctantly agreed to attend after Wendy's persistence. She said, "It was hard to get him to go." Alec was a bit of a homebody, actually. I think he stayed that way all his life. Wendy said, when he came home after his first date with Lorraine, he was excited like a little kid, declaring that he had met the girl he was going to marry. Theirs was a lifelong love affair. Lorraine was an amazing woman and a tower of strength and support for Alec in his terribly demanding job. As a police officer, Alec has done it all. He successfully applied for a position in the New South Wales Scientific Investigation Bureau. In this, his work and his photographic skills, which he had learned as a hobby, proved to be invaluable in preparing forensic evidence, as was the planned drawing course he took in preparing accurate plans of crime scenes and road accidents for use in court. Initially, he worked at the Bureau's headquarters in the heart of Sydney. Quoting from Alec, he said, "The 20 Bureau officers were incredibly brilliant people who were great thinkers, able to solve problems, taking their time to come to a decision, yet being capable of coping with horrific scenes of death and maiming. I realised in not too long that I had a lot to live up to, but I loved the challenge. By then I was married and my wife Lorraine had our first 2 children. Things were moving along fairly fast for me and my family. Highly regarded in his work at their Sydney headquarters, Alec was transferred in 1966 to the busy mining town of Broken Hill, where he was given the huge responsibility of being the only police scientific officer covering an area of about 1/3 of the state of New South Wales. Over his years in his detective role, he broke many crimes, including murders and robberies, and investigated many fatal accidents, suicides and assaults. After a long and highly stressful but widely respected stint in Broken Hill, Alec was transferred to the Newcastle Police Scientific Investigation Bureau in 1972. He packed up his family, Lorraine and their 3 little boys, Stephen, David and Paul, and headed to Newcastle. In the midst of working in such a difficult job, dealing with the tragedies of others, there came his and Lorraine's greatest life tragedy. In his autobiography, Alec wrote, "In 1973, a horrific tragedy struck our family when my 3 boys, aged 8, 6 and 2 years old, were killed in a car accident. We all wondered how Alec and Lorraine would survive that emotionally, but they did. Along with them, we all learned in our own way to live with this grief." Alec writes, "Soon after that, I transferred out of the Scientific Investigation Bureau back into uniform duty because with the death of my sons and all the years of seeing death and maiming, it had become too much. My career as a police scientific officer was over. I continued working in uniform at many Newcastle and surrounding police stations, enjoying the day-to-day variety of jobs and working with the general public. While nothing can ever completely wipe away the emptiness that follows something like the terrible loss of the boys, we could easily see a renewal of life in Alec and Lorraine with the birth of their 2 children, Kylie and Mark, an occasion of great joy and happiness. You can imagine how loved they've been by their mum and dad and by all of us. Alec has been recognised for his role as the first senior officer on the scene of the
Oh, Ray, thank you so much for that. How hard that must have been. It's always a privilege to hear from family when they share with us at a time like this. I always think they allow us into their own grief, a very tender space, entrusting us with it so that we might be a greater comfort to them and comfort one another. We're so very grateful to you for speaking like that and sharing with us. He had a wonderful police record, and it's well worth acknowledging. We're going to hear something of that now as Kylie comes and shares this with us. Come on.
Dad's police service began inspired by his own father's long career in policing. As a cadet in November 1959, based at Liverpool Station. Here he was given a taste of policing across numerous roles, including mail and record clerk, station duties and the pub safety bureau. That's questionable. In September 1961, he was made a probationary constable and assigned to general duties, firstly at Darlinghurst Station, then Redfern Station, before promotion to constable in September 62. In February 63, he worked in the patrol yard at headquarters. In November 64, he was transferred to general duties at Camden Police Station. In August 1966, he successfully applied to the Scientific Investigation Division and was assigned to Broken Hill. Dad was promoted twice during this period to the rank of Senior Constable. In December 1972, he was transferred from Broken Hill to Newcastle. In December 1974, he left the Scientific Investigation Division and returned to general duties, serving his remaining 23 years across many stations, including Newcastle, Hamilton, Wallsend and Belmont, where he was promoted in 1984 to Sergeant 3rd Class. He was commended for his work numerous times across his career, including for fighting disastrous bushfires in Cumberland in 1965, and in 1989 for outstanding performance of duty and team policing during the rescue operation following the Newcastle earthquake. He was awarded the National Medal along with the 1st and 2nd class. You were extraordinary, Dad. We were very proud.
There was one in there that we all raised our eyebrow at, and that was that one of being, I don't know, what was it, Inspector of Pubs or something? I think you just made that up. Hello, I'm the Inspector of Pubs. What can I get for you then, officer? Thank you for reading that out, Kylie. All of these places have memories because it was all about people, family, and it would bring back so many memories to others too. We stir up memories at times like this, and I can see from others that have been speaking that it stirred up some tears, and that would be normal. We stir up memories at a time like this, not to stir up tears, but to warm the heart. And I hope that as we see something of Alec's life in pictures, your hearts will well and truly be warmed. Something of his life in picture then.
I'm counting on you. Ever since we met, darling, I've been keeping score. Every day I count your charms, every day I love you more. It's plain to see why you're the lover that I waited for. I'm counting the different ways you melt me. Your smile, your voice, your touch. I'm counting the little things you tell me that move me oh so much. I'm counting your kisses and caresses, and 'cause I thrill as I do, for I'm counting on you. I'm counting the hours since I found you, the days and nights divine. I'm counting the dreams I built around you, because your love is mine. I'm counting on happiness forever. Oh, lover, always be true, for I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you.
That was lovely, taking us through all the styles there. I like to say this to the grandchildren. Your pop was so old, did you see that? The world was black and white. Imagine being born then when it was black and white. That will give them something to think about. Thank you for delving into the photo albums and selecting those to share with us today. We're very grateful to you. Thank you. The families also included the Lord's Prayer for your comfort today. You're welcome to join in. Those watching through live streaming, that includes you. You're welcome to join in with us also, as we say together the words of the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. His second job was one that he adored, of being a grandpa. And when I heard about that and how close he was to you, I thought, this'll do just fine. Just like him, Grandpa. He taught me how to build a fire. He gave me hope and desire. He taught me how to build a chair. He taught me that life wasn't fair. He watched every sporting game and treated me like fame. He bought me ice cream and listened to my every dream. I talked to him every day. We never ran out of things to say. Without him, I don't know who I'd be. But one thing is for sure, I wouldn't be me. He taught me how to be just like him, and I already am here within. Thank you all for your presence here today. The family's gone back to Kylie's place. If you are able to join them, they'll be made most welcome. I hope Kylie knows that this is the plan. If you're able, you'll be made very welcome back there. Just get the address from Kylie. We come together to be together, to celebrate a life, to remember, to share. but we also come to say farewell, and we've come to that point in the service now where we farewell. For this we always stand in honour and in tribute. Those of you here, and again watching through live streaming, if you're able, would you please be upstanding? Here we have come then today to remember and to celebrate Alec's life, to celebrate his life in our own, and to celebrate even some his gift of life. And now we farewell him with words of Alec, go in peace. Go in peace. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Go in peace. And of course his concern would be for you all today, more than for himself, that you would go in peace. I'll leave with you then these words of a Celtic blessing. Deep peace of the shining star to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of warm, assuring, comforting love to you. Comforting love to you, that you may leave even here in peace. We're going to leave to time to say goodbye. Andrea Bocelli and Sarah Brightman, but you're invited to come and place a flower on the casket if you wish before you leave. Time to say goodbye.
Sogno all'orizzonte, mancano le parole. Sì, lo so che non c'è luce in una stanza quando manca il sole. Se non ci sei tu con me, su le finestre mostrar tutto il mio cuore che è acceso. Chiudi dentro me la luce che ho incontrato per strada. Time to say goodbye. Paesi che non ho mai veduto e vissuto con te. Adesso sì li vivrò con te. Partirò sulla vita per mari che io lo so, non esistono più. It's time to say goodbye.
Quando sei lontana sogno all'orizzonte, manca le parole. E io sì lo so che sei con me, con me. Tu mia luna, tu sei qui con me. Mio sole, tu sei qui con me, con me, con me, con me. Time to say goodbye. Paesi che non ho mai veduto e vissuto con te. Adesso sì li vivrò